So the purpose of this video is not video games, but two kind of semi-related topics. The first is how to escape that overall feeling of being trapped. That could be trapped in a career that's not fulfilling, or trapped in a relationship that's not working, or trapped in a set of addictive behaviors that aren't serving you or anyone around you. The second purpose of this video is how to achieve that overall sense of happiness and fulfillment, but without being lucky. We want to take the concept of luck out of the equation because some people are dealt a decent hand, whether that's through genetics or circumstances and so on. So by factoring out luck out of the equation, we're left with some core set of principles that if you follow, it can maximize your chances of getting the most out of life and at the same time reaching a sense of fulfillment and contentment along the way. So I'm going to start with a diagram or visualization that kind of helps summarize a lot of the concepts that I'm going to talk about. So this outer circle here represents the scope of life. This represents everything life has to offer for a particular person. But actually, most people live their life through the innermost circle. They've drawn a wall around their life, simplified things down, but often this leads to a lack of fulfillment overall. So here in this diagram, the green represents positive experiences, positive outcomes, positive emotions, and so on. The red represents negative ones, and the white are more neutral. So you can see here, most people live their life in some variation of this innermost circle. They simplify things down into making life about their career or about the next bill payment or a very specific aspect of their hobby or whatever it may be. There's variation in that some people live their life marginally more on the green section and others more on the red section, but this is largely circumstantial and relies more on luck. So how I view luck is where this inner circle gets drawn. Some people land on, like I said, a lucky patch, and other people land on a negative patch. But actually, the point of this is to realize that when you expand that circle out, and this can be done through a variety of ways, you end up neutralizing a lot of your luck, and it becomes less about that and more about, what life has to offer overall. So that begs the question, what is this middle circle or middle oval? And this is someone who has tested the waters and delved into new territory, but maybe has got negative feedback or a negative outcome, and this can often lead them to retreat back into their safe zone, which is the innermost circle. Again, this middle circle can come in different variations, so by expanding your horizons, and this could be by starting a business or by reading or learning about new cultures or languages. There are a million different ways to expand your horizons, but by doing so, you could end up venturing into largely green territory or more in red territory. But as you can see, the more and more you expand your horizons, at some point you're going to come into negative territory. And this could be the moment where you start a career or a business and you get rejection. Maybe you start a business and you go for investments and you get turned down, or you try to get a book published and you get turned down, or you start to expand your horizons and put yourself out there for dating and you get rejected a couple of times. But by persisting through this phase, because this phase is inevitable, you will eventually reach the point where the red and the green tend to be a bit more balanced. And as you expand more and more, you tend to see life more through a wider lens, and this can help you put into perspective the realities of what you're experiencing. Ultimately, the main thing that keeps people trapped within that small inner circle is fear. This could be fear of uncertainty, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown, fear of being judged, and so on. So if there's one thing that can help you get the most out of life and reach that state of contentment and fulfillment, it's learning to live life without fear. So there are three things that you can do that can help you expand your horizons. They are being smart, being informed, and being brave. When I say being smart, I don't mean having a high IQ or getting good grades or, getting a good job. What I mean is making good decisions and seeing the big picture. Bravery then is not about having zero fear, but making positive strides or taking action despite that fear. And being informed then is not about soaking up every piece of information that you come across. It's about cutting out the junk, only trying to focus your attention on things that really matter, or being open-minded to new ideas. So this leads into the idea of education. And most people think of education as going to school, getting some grades, maybe getting a degree, getting a job, which leads you to getting a kind of a 9 to 5 with a salary and so on. But actually, education in the true sense of the word is really learning to live life without fear. Most people hold themselves back from lots of positive decisions and actions because they're afraid of what might happen. That fear of uncertainty leads to so many destructive qualities. So when you think about it, many different forms of hate actually stem from fear. So racism, for example, is usually a fear of the unknown, not acknowledging what is different from you. The same could be said for sexism or homophobia and lots of others as well. So this leads me to my final point, and this is probably best told through the analogy of the movie The Matrix.
Do you want to know what it is?
So when you look at the diagram from earlier, you'll see that most people are trapped in some kind of bubble. This could be a psychological bubble or a socioeconomic bubble, or it could be a political bubble. But either way, there's usually a way out. And you have to decide for yourself if you want to pop that bubble or help other people do the same. This is akin to taking the red pill or the blue pill in the Matrix. You have a choice. You can either live your life in some kind of simplified bubble of ignorance or naivety, which often leads to people being on autopilot for the most part. They see things through an emotional lens. On the flip side, you can expand your horizons and live life through the pursuit of knowledge, happiness, and wisdom. Don't get me wrong, the former can give you moments of intermittent or temporary joy, but that latter gives you that sense of understanding, contentment, and peace. So I hope you found this video interesting or enjoyable. I'm very much on this journey myself, and at the start of the journey and trying to expand my horizons through knowledge, through reading, through traveling, many different things. But hopefully, and I'm quite optimistic that one day I'll get close to that outer circle that I mentioned earlier. So let me know if you've got any thoughts, but for now I will see you in the next one.